AKAPADers. This is like one of those days, one of those times, one of those afternoons in the beautiful Philadelphia, PA. I hope you like my backlight. I know I'm a silhouette, but I'm excited because we got a new Prime flavor and I'm ready to try it. So this is like, it's like sometimes when you do videos, we're working very hard on every day rollout, everyday content, audio and visual, meaning you get updates on YouTube and you get updates on any podcasting platform available, and that's AKAPAD, a Film Buff podcast. We're having trouble with the Google stuff, we're having trouble with the Amazon stuff. Now keep in mind, we're 600 episodes deep on that, and things change, and then all of a sudden your library disappears. And, we go through ideas for videos, and sometimes we look at analytics, sometimes we go through DMs, we see what's trending. You try and aggregate as much as possible to deliver a product, something that you care about and something that I'm passionate over because, we like to do the passion here. And this week, really good Monday, really good Tuesday, really good Wednesday, really good Thursday. We do themes, Top Cow Tuesday, Wildstorm Wednesday. But everything in all, and stemming even from last week, Saturday, Sunday, rocking and rolling. And then, we start going back and forth about, what's happening Friday, what are we doing Friday? And, a couple hours go by, and there's just nothing. And you do things like, for example, guys, we're just letting things run. We read Blood Drink, and we're like, could that be a video? We do ideas like Namor, John Byrne leading into the Jay Lee era. Let's do John Byrne going into Jay Lee because no one's ever kind of done it that way before. We even do things like this. Should we start highlighting preview editions from different publishers and start documenting that? So there's all of these threads. A lot of them I'm deeply interested over. And then things happen, right? We start to absorb, and I started listening to the Robservations, Rob Liefeld podcast, because all over, a lot of the people I follow on Facebook, they're Rob Liefeld-ites, and they're pumping the stock of Rob Liefeld. And recently, I was removed from the Rob Liefeld group, which is weird, because I never had an argument or a weird post or any type of confrontation with Terry LaSalle, and the only thing I could think of is that something previously somewhere else they didn't like and they kicked me out. And not to say I'm not critical of Rob Liefeld, but I've also spent a lot of the time giving credit where credit's due when it comes to Liefeld's career. So everything is this this is what set me off for this video. Avengelyne, all right? So now she's everywhere. And we get two things, okay? We get two here we go, okay? AKAPADers, we get two things. Rob Liefeld, everyone involved with this book here, okay? Mark Poulton is our writer, okay? This book only exists, it only resonated for Mark knows these characters. Mark can go inside any character library and give you something. This is one of his skill sets. We have few examples of him doing this with established characters, but Mark, in my view, he's good at it. And not quite a master, but then again, not the character experience to become a master, because he mostly works on his own stuff. And number two is the power of the internet. This was, I believe it was Webtoon. It was a regular Webtoon series that later got collected. And this is during a period where no one cared about anything Rob Liefeld. And Rob Liefeld came back with 3 publishing efforts: Avengelyne, Glory, and Prophet. And there were these side tangent iterations of the characters that us as teenagers grew up reading that faded away, but they were available, and we didn't know till later because he actually had the rights for them. We didn't know till, oh my god, maybe even 10 years later, that Rob Liefeld doesn't have the rights to Youngblood and the Youngblood characters, and that's just mind-blowing on itself. So he does this podcast, and all over Facebook, people are selling the Avengelyne Omnibuy. and it's all because of a movie. Okay? Now, given the announcement for the movie is maybe a part of the crowdfunding, or what exactly, because in his podcast he says that the announcement for the movie leaked, but then we get this crowdfunder. So what came first? Because a crowdfunder, and given he's using Murat Michaels as a proxy, because Rob's crowdfunding is his brigade crowdfunding, 2 of them are not yet fulfilled. Tons of evidence for that, future video coming. But we get this very weird movie announcement, and then this Kickstarter announcement. And what's wild to me is that in your podcast, as he says, the biggest podcast, comic book podcast in the known universe, it might be, we all know. How do you gauge such a thing? Because even my podcast is on so many different networks. It takes so much time to get a little bit of an idea what that reach is. There's no I mean, people will use Apple or Spotify. They'll use like one platform as prime statistic, and there's no aggregate for any of this, by the way. Not like IMDb or like moviereview.com, I think it is, where it aggregates the online reviews and gives you a solid number. What Rob Liefeld does that's disingenuous is he gives zero credit, zero shout out, zero attention to this effort here. And this is an effort of no money and a lot of love. Okay? There's not a lot of dough made for Rob Liefeld Creations at the time. Not to mention there is not much dough to be made off of Rob Liefeld Creations now. And then, like, this is where we get ideas and visions and motivation for a lot of these videos, because this angers me. And so many of you came after me for the cartoonist kayfabe stuff, where my entire baseline around cartoonist kayfabe, by the way, was I was standing up for a lot of the creators that they were dissing on their channel, and in a way still do. This is a part of that thread, okay? A lot of these individuals are not going to toot their own horn. My hair just looks horrible. I keep catching myself. But they're not going to voice themselves. And they're there and they're stewing in resentment. We are going to do these call-outs. We're going to address things in the comic book industry, in the comic book world, as they come to our plate, and some of them hit home. John Stinsman, the original artist for Avengelyne, used to work at the comic shop that I managed years and years ago in New Jersey, called Hall of Heroes. I remember going to Hall of Heroes and seeing John Stinsman's submission artwork pasted on the wall. Weird thing at the time, but whatever. He got, I don't know why that was even there. But these are things. Mark Poulton was also a patron of that Hall of Heroes comic shop. So, some of these things are closer to me, but I know that Mark will never do a video on this. I know Mark likes to walk the line, and he does, and we never discuss this. Like, our DMs are strictly work related. We sometimes wish each other happy holiday and stuff like that, but there's nothing deeper. And this is, if you guys want to know what the motivation is and what the positioning of this channel is and what the AKAPAD army does and represents, this is it, okay? And as I'm speaking to you, you're seeing these pages. You're seeing the love and the sacrifice that multiple individuals that were not Rob Liefeld at all. None of these people are Rob Liefeld, and there's a level of love and passion and storytelling, and this is the best Avengelyne has been. Okay, the maximum years, everything in that Omnibuy does not measure up to what's inside of this book. And that's the wild thing. And I don't understand how Rob Liefeld, in an episode of Observations, does not address these individuals who they made zero money, they sacrifice everything, and they put out a good product the best product of one of the characters that you also co-created. You're not the creator of Avengelyne. He wants you to believe he is. I get it. He may have mentioned it in observations, but otherwise, his name's above the title. He gives no credit. His credit stealing at this point is unfathomable, because he even wants to confuse you about the co-creation of, Deadpool. But people, we are the Lorax, and we are the voice of what does not have vocal cords. Did I say that right? Guys, I don't know, man. I just... let me get some Prime. I gotta go. Subscribe, support, leave a comment.